This episode of Nerdist News is sponsored by Pacific Rim Uprising. Why the WWE's Ultimate Deletion has wrestling fans losing their damn minds. This week's episode of Monday Night Raw was a wonderful night for pro wrestling fans when Woken Matt Hardy of the Hardy Boys and the Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt duked it out at the Hardy compound in a match called The Ultimate Deletion that was, to put it lightly, bat insane. So insane that it became the #1 trending item on Twitter. Besides featuring in-ring action and multiple wrestling rings scattered around Matt Hardy's actual home, this sports entertainment spectacle also included fireworks, a super intelligent drone called Vanguard 1, a giraffe that is supposedly the reincarnated spirit of President George Washington, and this hologram.
Follow the music.
It's safe to say that this isn't your parents' pro wrestling match. Now, if you haven't watched wrestling in years, or if you were never a fan, you're probably asking yourself, what the f*** is going on? Well, here's a primer. Matt Hardy and his real-life brother, Jeff Hardy, were one of the top tag teams in WWE in the late 90s. After they finished up at WWE, they wrestled for smaller promotions until they debuted in a company called TNA Wrestling in the 2010s. Until then, the Hardy Boys had spent most of their career as wrestlers that loved performing high-risk moves as much as they loved wearing Hot Topic's finest 90s rave gear. While in TNA, Matt Hardy lost a no disqualification match against his brother Jeff, and over the next month, he debuted a new character called Broken Matt Hardy, who was broken by his loss to his brother. With his new character, Matt dyed a blonde streak in his hair, spoke with a weird accent that he claimed is how humans speak in the far future, and began telling Jeff, who he now called Brother Nero, that he was obsolete and that Matt was going to delete him. Also, he started having premonitions. And this is where things get weird.
Delightful. It's an extraordinary xylophone.
In a series of matches at the Hardy compound called The Final Deletion, Delete or Decay, and Tag Team Apocalypto, Matt successfully deleted his brother, threw a demonic wrestler named Crazy Steve into an active volcano, and went on an expedition of gold with a post-deletion Jeff Hardy where they, and I quote, teleported around the world to win all of the world's tag team titles. The Expedition of Gold finally ended at last year's WrestleMania when the Hardy Boys returned to WWE to win the WWE's Raw Tag Team titles, but many fans were disappointed that the Hardy Boys had returned to their WWE era pre-broken characters. Now, in the real world, Matt was embroiled in a lawsuit with TNA Wrestling over the ownership of his broken universe, which prevented the use of those characters, but a few months ago they finally came to an agreement. Matt debuted his slightly different character, Woken Matt Hardy, on WWE television, and last night we saw the first WWE-funded Hardy compound match, The Ultimate Deletion, which the internet loved more than Matt Hardy loves green beans.
You love carrots like I love green beans, yes.
So what happened in this match, and what does it mean for the Broken Universe? Ultimate Deletion reintroduced wrestling fans to Broken Universe characters, including Matt's wife, Queen Rebecca, his sons, King Maxwell and Lord Wolfgang, his super intelligent drone, Vanguard 1, and fan favorite and Matt's real-life groundskeeper and father-in-law, Senor Benjamin. The match featured Bray arriving at the Hardy compound where he was introduced to Matt's previously mentioned hologram, a wrestling segment in a ring in Matt's yard that included Vanguard 1 initiating his boomstick protocol, which caused fireworks to rain down on the match, a battle in a garage Matt calls the Dome of Deletion that almost ended with Matt Hardy running over Bray Wyatt with a lawnmower, and also introduced us to these delightful phrases.
Chair of wheels, more of lawn.
This was followed by, and we're not messing with you, Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy participating in a Looney Tunes and Scooby-Doo inspired game of hide and seek in what looks like a graveyard if it was designed by an angsty teen. Finally, the match ended with Senor Benjamin, Brother Nero, and Vanguard 1 interfering in the match so that Matt Hardy could perform his finishing move on Bray. Pin him for the 1, 2, 3, and then throw him into the Lake of Reincarnation, which is a lake in Matt Hardy's yard that is capable of causing wrestlers to revert to old versions of their characters. It's like the Lazarus Pit from DC Comics, but, doesn't make sense. After winning the match, Matt Hardy screamed that the Great War between him and Bray is over, and the words "Deletion complete" displayed on the screen from the lens of Vanguard 1 in one of the most surreal moments in WWE history. Yep, there's a lot to unpack there.
Delightful.
So now that Bray Wyatt has been deleted, what does that mean for the Broken Universe? Bray Wyatt was thrown into the Lake of Reincarnation, but he was nowhere to be seen after the match, so we don't yet know which of his old characters he's going to return to. Safe bets are he'll show up as his often teased paranormal character, Sister Abigail, a return to his Sherman tank with a Ferrari engine character, Husky Harris, or we could see him become Woken himself and join the Hardy family full-time, or the storyline could just be dropped next week and we could never hear about it again, because if there's one thing pro wrestling stories often lacks, it's continuity.
You want some ketchup on that ass?
Regardless, with the success of the Ultimate Deletion, it's safe to say this isn't the last time Senor Benjamin will have to, quote,
prepare the battlefield for annihilation!
And even if wrestling isn't your thing, just know that this event made a ton of wrestling fans very, very happy. But what do you think? Are you excited that WWE gave us the Ultimate Deletion? Which wrestler do you want to see face off against Matt in the Hardy compound? And who is your favorite member of House Hardy? Our vote is Skarsgård, Matt's dilapidated boat that has a name for some reason.
Skarsgård, please, let me indulge in your usage.
Let's discuss. Thank you, Pacific Rim Uprising, for sponsoring today's episode. Pacific Rim Uprising comes to theaters in Real D, 3D, and IMAX this Friday. Set 10 years after the events of the first Pacific Rim, the breach has reopened and is spewing out kaiju. It's up to John Boyega's Jake Pentecost and some sweet Jaegers to fight back and prevent humanity's extinction. Get your tickets now at PacificRimTickets.com.